Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I'm a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by to check out my video today. This is a yarn and crochet channel where we talk about all things yarn and all things crochet, so if that interests you, please sit back and watch this video because today, my friends, I offer you week 2 of my Spring Crochet Along for a project that I am calling the Spring Things Throw. So this here is 14 rounds using Karen cotton cakes in the colorway Calico Flowers. Let me just show you what that cake looks like. It's a whole cake full of spring. I love it. So anyway, this is 8.8 ounces. It is 250 grams. It's a 60-40 blend of cotton and acrylic, 60 cotton, 40 acrylic. It is machine washable and dryable. They do suggest a 5mm crochet hook. I'm actually hooking up to a 5.5mm crochet hook because I do like the drape. I prefer that for a throw. So it's not stiff. It's very nice. So this is the front, and then this is the back. And I am counting all of the stitches from the first round all the way to the 14th round, and I'm going to continue doing that just to make sure that everything falls into place from beginning all the way to the end. Okay, so last week we spun for 4 stitches. We're going to do that every week. So last week the stitches were double crochet, the double cross, the extended half double crochet, and then twins in a stitch. So this week we're going to spin the wheel again for 4 stitches, and then we're going to go next door to the tutorial table, and then we're going to work out week 2 of our project. So there is that. So as far as the stitch count, as of right now, on the short side you should have 52 stitches. If you're following this tutorial, the crochet along from beginning to end to a T, it's going to be 52 stitches across the top here and 58 stitches along the side. Okay? So there is that, and I have the wheel in tow. And so without further ado, my friends, we're going to go ahead and spin for the stitches. So my fingers are crossed that we land on some really good stitches this week. Not really sure what we're going to land on. I haven't changed any of the slices yet. I do feel after this week I will be changing up the stitches, because there are stitches that I would like to include in our project that are not on here just yet. So let's just see how this week turns out. Okay, so let's go ahead and review the stitches. We'll start right there at the single crochet. Next we have an extended single, half double, extended half double, a double crochet, extended double crochet, twins in a stitch, half double cross, windows, double cross, the V-stitch, Juan's choice. I love this part of the wheel. And then we have the double crochet, the double V, which in other words could be the iris stitch, and then last but not least, we're back at the beginning to the single crochet. Okay, so let me place us on a brief pause just so that we have a cutoff point in case something happens. I don't want to lose any of the data. 1 second. Okay, friends, so let's go ahead and spin for our stitches. Here goes nothing. Double V. Love that for us. Let me go ahead and write that down just so I don't miss it. Double V. Okay. Let's go ahead and spin for stitch number 2. Single crochet. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, let me write single here. Now I will tell you, if you look back at week 1, I did mention that every week I do have the right to veto a stitch. So if I feel it's not going to flow right, or for whatever the reason may be, I will veto the stitch. So right now, the single crochet might be a potential veto, just because I'm trying to grow the project, not stay small. So we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and spin for stitch number 3. Windows. I'm excited about that. I love windows in a throw. Okay, windows. All right. Let's go ahead and spin for stitch number 4. Half double crochet. Okay. We love a good half double crochet. Okay. Half double. Okay. All right, so double V, single crochet, windows, half double. So based on this, I'm actually going to veto the single crochet. So we're going to replace that with another stitch. I am going to replace the single crochet with a double crochet. We need that here, double. Okay. So double V, double crochet, windows, and half double. That's actually very nice, I think, for a throw. It's very easy, nothing complicated. I just want us to enjoy the process for what it is, and I think that will do it. The single crochet, we're going to need several rows around the square in order to achieve the size that we're looking for. So yeah, double V, double crochet, windows, and then a half double. Perfect. Okay, so before we head over to the tutorial table, I do want to just let you know kind of what the guideline is in terms of growth. So the overall goal here is to go 50 inches on the short side and 60 inches on the long side. We may not achieve the long 60 inches. We're going to get pretty close though. But every week we need to grow this by 10 inches on the short side, which means 5 inches on either side to achieve the 10 inches. So with the 4 stitches that we do have, I'm going to repeat those stitches probably in groups, like 2 rows of this, 2 rows of that. We'll see once we get over to the tutorial table. Once I have the stitches in front of me, we'll make the decision at that point. But another idea I had was to run through all 4 and then repeat all 4 again so they're not clumped together. Being as though for week 1 we clumped the stitches together, we block them, we may follow suit with that just so that it looks cohesive. We may do that. But we'll find out once we get over to the tutorial table. Okay, so that's it, my friends. I'm going to take you guys next door and we're going to get started on this crochet along. So I'll see you in just a second. Okay, friends, so here we are at the tutorial table. We're looking at our project with the right side facing us, facing up rather. And what we want to do is we want to choose a corner to start from. So I am going to start, let's see here. Let's start right here in this corner. No rhyme, no reason. I'm just choosing this corner. Okay, so let me just recap something very quickly. So this is the long side and this is the short side. So for round 15, we're going to do the double V stitch, okay? And it's otherwise called the iris stitch. And it's going to be 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, okay? I've already pre-counted all the stitches and I have a plan on how we're going to lay this all out perfectly, okay? So the stitch count that we're looking for on the long side is 62 stitches. And then on the short side, we're looking for 56 stitches, okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to start on the short side. So I'm going to choose the corner that will then allow me to begin on the short side, okay? So it's very important because the short side's layout is different than the long side's layout, okay? So for round 15, make sure you start in the corner that will allow you to work on the short side first, okay? That's very important. All right, so to begin, what we're going to do is we're going to do a standing single crochet. So to do that, create a slip knot on your hook like this. You're going to go into the corner, drop a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through both of those loops just like that. Okay? So now from here you're going to chain 2 and that will count as a double crochet. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to go into the corner again with a double crochet. And then for the first stitch here, we're going to do a double crochet. And now we're going to start our iris stitch. It's 2 double crochets, single chain, and then 2 double crochets. So we're going to skip 2 and go into the 3rd stitch. So skip, skip, and go right in here with 2 double crochets. So you're going to yarn over, go into that 3rd stitch, and do your double crochet. You're going to do it one more time right in that same stitch. You're going to chain 1 and then go back into that same stitch with 2 more double crochets. Just like that. From here, we're going to skip 4. So skip, 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 and then in the 5th stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then 2 double crochets. I'm going to do that one more time. We're going to skip 4 and go into the 5th stitch. So skip, 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 go into the 5th stitch, which is where my thumb is. Go in there with 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. And that's what we're looking like. Perfect. Love that. Okay, so continue doing that, making sure that you skip 4 stitches, go into the 5th one, and do 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then 2 double crochets. Okay, 2 double crochets. There you go. So continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of the first side right here. Okay? Okay, friends, so I am approaching the end of the first side, and so we have our series of double V's. And like the other side, what we're going to do is we're going to skip the 2 stitches, go into the last stitch, do a double crochet. Then we're going to go into the chain space here and do 2 double crochets. After that, we're going to chain 2 and swivel our work around. And we're going to go back into this chain space and we're going to do 2 double crochets. Just like that. So the long side's layout is going to be different than the short side. So for the long side, we need 6 double crochets before we start our double V's. So it includes these 2. So let's go into the next stitch, double crochet. So that's 3 so far. We need 3 more. So 1, 2, and 3. So there's 6 double crochets. And now what we need to do, yarn over and then skip, skip, go into the 3rd stitch and do 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. From here we're going to skip 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, go into the 5th stitch, yarn over, go in, and do your double V. So double crochet, chain 1, and go back in with 2 double crochets. So continue doing that so long as you have 10 of them. So create 10 of these and you should be down here at the other end. So continue on and I'll meet you down here at the other end. All right? Okay, friends, so I am down towards the end of the long side and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches remaining, and then I have the chain space. So because I just finished the double V, I need to skip the next 2 stitches. I need to go into the 3rd stitch, so skip, skip, go into the 3rd one, with a double crochet, 3 more double crochets in the next 3 stitches. So double crochet here, double crochet there, and we have 1 stitch remaining on the side, so let's go ahead and put a double crochet in there. So there's 4, and then we're going to go ahead and go into the chain space and do 2 double crochets. So we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to chain 2, and let's swivel our work around. And let's go back into the corner here with 2 double crochets. Just like that. And like the side down here, we're going to mimic that. We're going to go into the next stitch with just 1 double crochet. And from here, we're going to start our double V's. So yarn over, skip, skip, go into that 3rd stitch. Let's go ahead and do our double V. So 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then go back in with 2 double crochets. From here, we're going to skip 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go into this 5th stitch here with a double V. Okay, so continue on with the double V's. You're going to need 10 of those. Make sure that you're skipping 4 stitches in between the double V's and going into the 5th stitch with your double V. Okay, so continue on with that, and I will see you down at this corner right here. Okay. Okay, so here we are at the other end of the short side. So I have 3 stitches remaining. We're going to skip, skip, go into the last stitch with a double crochet. We're going to go into the chain space with 2 double crochets. We're going to chain 2 and then swivel around. Let's go into the chain space with 2 double crochets. Okay, and so we're on the long side again. So we need a total of 6 double crochets, so we have 2. Let's go into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to do our double V's. So we're going to skip, skip, go into the 3rd stitch with the double V, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, and we're going to need 10 of those. So as always, skip 4, skip, 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 go into the 5th stitch with the double V, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. Okay, so continue doing the double V's all the way down the side, and then I will meet you down here in the corner. Okay. Okay, friends, so now I am approaching the end of the long side. I have 10 sets of double V's. I just have to do 1 more double crochet in this double V, and that takes care of that. Okay, so from here we need to have 6 double crochets. Sorry about that. We need 6 double crochets here. So we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. Let's yarn over, skip, skip, go into this 3rd stitch with a double crochet. Go next door to this stitch right here with a double crochet. There's 2. So this is a knot here, so we're not going to fuss with that. We're going to yarn over and go right in between, right there. So there's 3 double crochets. This is another knot we're not going to fuss with. Let's just go ahead and go in between. Double crochet. So now we have 4 double crochets. All right, so now we're going to go into the chain space right here with 2 double crochets. And so we should have 6 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. So from here we're going to chain 2, and we're going to connect back to the beginning of the round. So this is round number 15. So what we're going to do is we are going to insert the tip of our crochet hook into this very first stitch. Well, I'm sorry, the last chain before the stitch. So let's go in, draw up a loop, slip to close, and now we begin round number 16. So number 16 is going to be exactly what we just did. Okay, so we started round number 15 with a standing single crochet and a chain 2. So here we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go next door right here and do a double crochet. And from here we're going to go next door and do a double crochet on top of this one. Give this stitch an upstairs neighbor. Just like that. From here, we're going to go right into the double V and mimic exactly what's here. So we're going to yarn over, go into the double V chain space, and do 2 double crochets, a chain 1, go back in for 2 double crochets. So it's going to look like that. From here, we're going to hop over to the next double V and give it the same exact thing that's beneath it. So 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. So copy that all the way down the side, and I will meet you at the corner. Okay, so I am down at the end of the short side here. And so what we're going to do is mimic what's underneath here. So we're going to yarn over, give this standalone stitch a double crochet, give this stitch a double crochet, and give the next one a double crochet as well. So that's what it should look like. From here, we're going to go into the chain space and do 2 double crochets. Okay. Now we're going to swivel around. Now we're going to work on the long side. And on the long side, we're literally just going to copy what's underneath, but making sure that we add 2 stitches to each corner. So now that we did the 2 double crochets, we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to go back into the chain space and do 2 doubles. And then we're going to give these 3 stitches upstairs neighbors. So yarn over, go into this stitch here, double crochet. Next door, double crochet. Next door, double crochet. Okay. So now we have 3 more stitches to go. Let's do that. 1 double crochet for each one of those stitches. And so you should have 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. So from here, we're going to mimic what's beneath from the previous round. So double V, double V, double V, okay? 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. So continue doing this, and I shall see you at the next corner. All right? Okay, friends, so here we are on the end of the second side here. This is what the first side looks like. I'm going to swivel it around. This is what this is looking like. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give each one of these stitches an upstairs neighbor now that we're done the double V's. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochets. Each one of those will receive an upstairs neighbor. And then in the chain space, it's going to be 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. We're going to swivel around to the short side. We're going to do upstairs neighbors for each one of these stitches. And then we're going to go ahead and give each one of these double V's upstairs double V's. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started with that. So let's go ahead and give each one of these 6 stitches upstairs neighbors. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now in the chain space, we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, let's swivel around, and in the chain space do 2 double crochets. That's what we're looking like so far, okay? So each one of these 3 stitches will receive upstairs neighbors, and then in the middle of these double V's, we're going to go in and give each one of these upstairs neighbors double V's. So continue doing this all the way down. At the end here, make sure you give these 3 stitches upstairs neighbors, and then in the corner, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. We're going to swivel around and just copy what we did on the other side. So we already have 2 double crochets there. Give all of these upstairs neighbors. Once that's done, you're going to do double V's on top of all the double V's. Okay? So continue working the rest of the round here, and I will meet you at the end of this round, which is round number 16. Okay? So I shall see you in just a second. Okay, so we are approaching the end of round number 16. I have upstairs neighbors for all these 6 stitches here. The next thing we need to do is take care of our corner here. So we're going to go in, we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, swivel our work around. And we're going to go into the chain space with 2 double crochets, just like that. This chain 3 counts as a stitch, so we're not going to worry too much about that. So to close off round number 16, we're going to insert our hook into that top chain right there and slip to close. So that wraps up round number 16. So let's just take a quick look here for the stitch count for round number 16. On the short side, you should have 60 stitches on the short side, 60. And then on the long side, you should have 66 stitches. Okay, so 60 by 66 for round number 16. And now for round number 17, we're going to do half double crochets. So let's go ahead and take care of this. So we're going to go ahead and chain 3 to start. That counts as a stitch. And in every stitch, we are going to give an upstairs neighbor, half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3, just like that. Next stitch, just like that. We're going to hop over. The only chain space we go in is in the middle of the double V's. That actually counts as a stitch. So we're not going to go into this space here, only in between the V's, okay? So let's go ahead and continue on with this. There's a chain space. Let's go ahead and put a half double there. And then these two stitches get upstairs neighbors. Half double. And then not into this space here, but into the heads of these two stitches. Just like that. So that's what it's looking like. Okay? So continue doing this for every stitch of the round. Okay? In the chain spaces, you are going to do 2 half doubles, chain 2, 2 half doubles. Okay, that's where we're increasing. So just to recap, we're going to go into every stitch with a half double crochet. Do not go into these spaces in between the double V's here. You're only going to go inside here. Okay, so every double V has 5 stitches. So 1, 2, and then this chain 1 is a third, 4, 5. Okay, so every stitch gets a half double crochet, and then in the chain space it's going to be 2 half doubles, chain 2, 2 half doubles. Okay, so go ahead and work that. This is round number 17, all half double crochets in every stitch. So work all the way around, and I shall see you at the end of round number 17. Okay friends, so I am wrapping up round number 17. I have 2 half double crochets and a chain 2. I'm going to go back into the corner here with 2 half double crochets. And then I have 2 stitches remaining in the round. I'm going to give each one of those stitches a half double crochet. And to close out round number 17, I'm going to go into the top chain, draw up a loop, and slip to close, just like that. Now, let's just go to the center here to find if we're on the short or the long side. So we're on the short side, come down here, and for stitch counts, on the short side for round number 17, we have a total of 64 half double crochets. And then if we swivel it around to the long side, we have a total of 70 half double crochets. Okay, so round number 18, let's go back to where we left off here. Round number 18 is going to be another round of half double crochets. Every stitch will receive a half double crochet just like the last round. Okay, so to get started, we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to go into the next stitch here, yarn over, go into the stitch, the head of that stitch, draw up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through all 3, just like this. And then go next door here, yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. So you're going to do that to every stitch of the round, half double crochets, just like this. Every stitch of the round. And then in the corners, like the last round, you're going to do, let's move that yarn out of the way. You're going to do 2 half double crochets, chain 2, 2 half double crochets. Okay? And the stitch count that you're looking for on the short side for round number 18 is 68 stitches. And then on the long side for round number 18, you're going to need 74 stitches. Okay? So continue on with that, my friends, and I will see you at the end of round number 18. Okay, friends, so here we are rounding out the end of round number 18, and I have 2 half double crochets in the last corner before we finish. We're going to chain 2, Go back into that corner with 2 half double crochets, just like that. Then we're going to give that first stitch an upstairs neighbor, just like that. And then we have a half double crochet, half double crochet, and half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Just like that. So to close out round number 18, we're going to go into that top chain right before the stitch. Sometimes it's a little tough, but we'll get it. All right, draw up a loop and slip to close. And so this is what we're looking like. Let me zoom us out a little bit. Okay, so this is what we're looking like. Perfect, love that. Okay, so on the short side, as I mentioned before, for round number 18, we should have a total of 68 stitches going this way. And then on the long side, going down round number 18 here, we should have a total of 74 stitches. Okay? So let's continue on to round number 19. Round number 19 is going to be double crochets. So we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to go into the next stitch, which is right here. So we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch there, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And we're going to give every stitch of the round a double crochet, just like this. And continue with this, friends, and I will meet you at the first corner. Okay? Okay, friends, so here we are at the corner, and I have 2 stitches remaining. So we're going to yarn over and go into the last 2 stitches with a double crochet. And from here, we're going to go right into the corner here with 2 double crochets, chain 2. We're going to swivel our work around, and then go into the corner with 2 more double crochets. Okay, so to continue on, don't forget to give this first stitch an upstairs neighbor. If you slide the stitches to the side, you'll see the head of the stitch stuffed underneath those 2 stitches. If you can't manage to get your hook inside of that little loop, I mean, I can, but if you can't, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and put a 3rd double crochet right into the corner there. But if you can manage to get your hook in there, the corner is always tough, but if you can get your hook in there, I just had it a second ago. There we go. You can go ahead and do your double crochet like that. Now that it's done, you can actually see the head of the stitch there. Okay, so that's why I wanted to stop in the corner to just show you, as you're doing this, make sure that you're going into the head of the stitch coming around the corner there. Okay, so continue on with your double crochets for the round, and I will see you at the end of round number 19. Okay, friends, so here we are at the end of round number 19, and I just have these stitches left, so I'm just coming out of the corner. So the very first stitch needs an upstairs neighbor, so I'm going to yarn over, well, slide in, see if I can get that. I can't, so we're just going to go right into the corner there, double crochet. Let me do that again. Okay, so that's the upstairs neighbor to the first stitch, and now I'm going to go over to the next stitch, double crochet. I'm going to do 4 double crochets to finish the round here. Okay, and so that concludes round number 19. Fits perfectly. Okay, so number 20 is going to be half double crochet windows. And because it's windows, we're not going to start windows in the middle of a round. We're going to have to start from the corner. So what we need to do is we need to close off the round here. So we're going to go into the top chain very carefully here. We're going to draw up a loop, slip to close, and then we're going to chain 2, just like that. We're going to grab our scissors, cut a tail, pull the hook away from our work, pinch from the top there, and then grab it with your other hand and slide down, and you're going to squeeze these 2 chains into the work, just like that. Okay, so from here we're just going to sew in our ends, and because I have color changing yarn, I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to sew my tail in to the green side here. So if you don't have color changing yarn, you can sew it however you want, but for me, I'm going to flip it over to the back side and I am going to sew in my end here. So I'm going to place you guys on a brief pause while I do that, and I'll be right back. Okay friends, so here we are with round number 19 closed off. I've sewn in my ends, I've done all the things. So to go on to round number 20, we're going to choose a corner. So I don't like to start where I finished, so this whole section is off limits. So I'm going to start over here at this corner. And to begin, what we need to do is create a slip knot on our hook. Let me back us out a little bit. There we go. So let's create a slip knot on our hook. Okay, so to begin, we need to go into the corner, drop a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through both loops. That is a standing single crochet. From here, what we're going to do is chain 2, and that does count as a stitch. And what we're going to do is yarn over, go into the corner, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 of those loops here. That is a half double crochet. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to go back into this corner with 2 half double crochets. Just like that. Now normally we would give this first stitch an upstairs neighbor, but the upstairs neighbor is going to be a chain. And we're going to go right into the next stitch right here with a half double crochet. We're going to chain, and then we're going to skip, and then go into the next stitch right here with a half double crochet. Okay, so we're having windows, but they're lowercase windows, right? Because normally, you know, in most cases it's a double crochet window, but today we are doing half double crochet windows. So we're going to chain 1 and skip 1 and go into the next stitch. So yarn over, go in, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. Okay, chain 1, skip 1, yarn over, go in, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. So that's what it's looking like. Continue doing this all the way down, and I will see you here at the very first corner. Okay? Okay friends, so here I am at the first corner, and if you're counting your stitches, you should have ended on the last stitch here. And for the long side, I believe this is the long side, yes. So for the long side, you should have a total of 82 stitches, and that does include the chains. Okay, so 82 stitches on the long side, and then on the short side here, which I'm about to start, on the short side we should have a total of 76 stitches, and that does include the half double crochets and the chains. Okay, but to the corner here, what we're going to do is go into the corner with 2 half double crochets, chain 2, we're going to swivel around and go back into that corner with 2 half double crochets, just like that. As I mentioned before, the upstairs neighbor for the first stitch would normally be a stitch, but in this case, since we're doing windows, it's going to be a chain. And then we're going to go right into that next stitch with a half double crochet. Just like that. Chain one, skip one, and go into the next stitch with a half double crochet. Just like that. Okay? So continue on doing half double crochets, chain one, skip one, so the windows, for the remainder of round number 20. Okay? So I shall see you at the end of round 20. Okay, friends, so I am nearing the end of round number 20. I have 2 stitches remaining in the round. So to finish this off, what I'm going to do is chain one and skip one and go into the last stitch of the round with a half double crochet. Just like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the third chain, draw up a loop and slip. And now to start the next round, we need to get into the corner. So we're going to go into the next stitch right here, draw up a loop and slip. And then we're going to go into the corner, draw up a loop and slip. Okay? So just to recap the stitches, let's see if, okay, so we're on the short side. Let's slide down here. So on the short side for round number 20, you should have 76 stitches across the short side. And then on the long side, we should have a total of 82 stitches. Okay, and that does include the half double crochets and the chains. Okay, so to start the next round, to start round number 21, what we need to do is chain 3. Now, a lot of people chain 2 when they do half double crochets. Some people chain 3. I am one of the chain 3 folks, so if you feel more comfortable just chaining 2, by all means, go ahead and do that. I chain the extra one so it's easier for me to find the chain to link to close. So that's the reason for that. But from here, we're going to go back into the corner with a half double crochet. We're going to chain 2. We're going to swivel the work around. We're going to go back into this corner with 2 half double crochets. Just like that. Okay? And so to continue on, what we're going to do is we are going to chain. Instead of giving the first stitch of the row an upstairs neighbor, we're giving it a chain. Okay? And then we're going to go into this next stitch right here with a half double crochet. We're going to chain and then go right into the top of this half double crochet. If you tilt it down, you can see that bottom part of the head of the stitch. So yarn over, go into that part of the stitch. You can see the front and the back loop still intact up top. Draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops, just like that. Chain and jump over to the next half double crochet. Draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3, just like that. Okay? So it looks like it's staggered, but that's fine. The mechanics of the actual stitch, let me just chain one. The anatomy of this stitch has it so that the head of the stitch is actually behind the stitch right here. So even though it looks a little staggered, like it's behind, it's fine. It should look that way. It's just how the stitch is built, because directly in front of it is the chain. So you don't want to go into the chain, you want to go into the stitch. And so that's how that is. Okay? So continue on doing half double crochet and chains on top all the way across. Okay? And I will meet you at the first corner. All right? So I'll see you in just a second. Okay, friends, so I am at the first corner here, and I landed at the end of the row here, as you can see, with the 2 stitches from the corner remaining. So I chained 1, as you can see right there. I'll do it again. Chain 1. I'm going to skip over this middle stitch, and then I'm going to go into the last stitch with a half double crochet. Just like that. And then I'm going to go into the corner here with 2 half double crochets, just like that. And then I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to swivel around. And we're going to go back into the corner with 2 half double crochets, just like this. We're going to chain over the very first stitch, and we're going to go into the head of the second stitch and do a half double crochet, just like that. Chain 1, and we're going to go right into the next stitch right there with a half double crochet. Chain 1, go into the next stitch, half double crochet. So continue doing this for the remainder of the round, and I will meet you at the end of round number 21. Okay friends, so I am nearing the end of round number 21. I have just 1 stitch remaining. This chain is actually part of that. This is a standalone, and this is the upstairs neighbor. Okay, so from here I chained 1, and what we're going to do is we're going to go right into the chain 3 there. We're going to go into that top chain, drop a loop very carefully, and slip to close. So it should look like that, and it should match just like that. Okay, so before we move further, we're just going to recap the stitches. So for round number 21, on the short side right here, on the short side we should have a total of 80 stitches, including the half double crochets and the chains. Okay, and then on the long side, this is the long side here, going across, we should have a total of 86 stitches, again including the half doubles and the chains. Okay, so to start round number 22, which is double crochets, we're going to slip over into the next stitch. So go into the stitch very carefully, draw up a loop, and slip to close. And then we're going to go into the chain space corner there, drop a loop, and slip. Okay, so as I just mentioned, we're going to be doing a round of double crochets. So we're sandwiching the windows in between double crochets. Okay, so to start, we're going to chain 3, just like that. We're going to go in and do 1 more double crochet, and we're going to chain 2, and we're going to swivel our work around, and we're going to go back into that corner with 2 double crochets, just like that. And every stitch of the previous round will have an upstairs neighbor. So this very first stitch will have a neighbor. So you can pull the stitches to the side and you can see that little dropling there. If it's too tight, then just go into the chain space and do a 3rd double crochet. That 3rd double crochet will be the upstairs neighbor of the very first stitch. Okay, so just jump over to the next stitch and do a double crochet, and then in the chain space we're going to do a double crochet. All right, and then on instead of going on the top or inside, you can separate the stitches if you want, but to make life easy, what we're going to do is we're going to just do 2 double crochets in every window. So 1 will be for the chain and 1 will be for the stitch. So twins in a stitch, right? So 2 double crochets in every window for the entire round. So continue doing this, 2 double crochets in every window for the round, but we're going to meet up in the corner here. So I'm going to show you how to get around the corner so that you can continue on going to all the corners. Okay, so for now, do twins in a stitch all the way down the side, and I will meet you at the first corner. All right. Okay, friends, so I am down to the first corner here, And so I'm going to walk you through the corners so you can do the rest of them. So from here, we're going to go right into the next 2 stitches. Okay, so double crochet in that stitch, and then double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to go right into the corner with 2 double crochets. From here, we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to swivel our work around. It's getting a little larger, so can't keep it all under camera at the same time. All right, so from here, we're going to go back into the corner with 2 double crochets, just like that. And then we're going to give this very first stitch an upstairs neighbor. Again, you can slide this over, but it's more headache than it's worth. You can just go right into the corner and do another double crochet to give that stitch an upstairs neighbor. And then go into the next stitch here with a double crochet. And then from here, you're going to go into every chain space and do twins in a stitch. So in this chain space right here, twins in a stitch, 2 double crochets, and just hop right over to the next chain space and do twins in a stitch, just like that. You're going to continue doing that all the way around. So that is how we get around a corner. And it looks like one side has 2 and then the other side has 3. But remember, this side has 3 because this third one is the upstairs neighbor to that very first stitch. So it doesn't really count as 3, you know? All right, so continue on with the twins in a stitch for this round. Just a reminder, this is round number 22, and it's all double crochets. And so continue on, my friends, and I will see you at the end of round number 22. Okay, friends, so here we are at the end of round number 22, and after counting my stitches, I have 82 stitches, and what I need for, let me just scooch down, so this is the short side. So for the short side of round 22, I'm supposed to have 84. So this chain 3 and this double crochet is part of the corner and not this stitch. So we need to do 2 more stitches to complete this round. So you can see it right there. We're going to go in there. It's a little tight. If you can't make it, then just go right into the chain space right here. But I'm going to try and squeeze it in there. Draw up a loop and do a double crochet. And then in this space right here, right there, go right in there, draw up a loop and do a double crochet. And now we have the required amount of stitches for the round. It's a little tricky. If I didn't point that out, I mean, this could have counted, you know what I mean? So anyway, those are the 2 stitches. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the top chain. So chain 1, 2, and 3, go into that third chain, draw up a loop and slip. We're going to go into the next stitch here, draw up a loop and slip, and then we're going to go into the corner here, draw up a loop and slip. Okay, so that, my friends, wraps up round number 22. So let me zoom us out a little bit. Let me make a bunny ear. Okay, let's recap the stitches, friends. So this is the short side, as I just mentioned, and on the short side we need 84 total stitches. And if we swivel around, this is the long side here, and what we need for the long side here are 90 stitches. Okay, so that's what we have, 90 stitches for the long side. Okay, and so the final round, friends, is front post double crochet. So how this is going to happen is, first, let's go to the corner here, and we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And this, as it stands right now, you can tell by the ridge, this is the front of our work. So in order to get this ridge again for the ending of week 2, which, by the way, friends, this is the last round of the week. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn our work over. So we're going to take our throw and turn it so that the back is facing us. Okay? And from here, what we're going to do is for every stitch of the round here from the previous row, we're going to do front post double crochets. So we're going to yarn over, come down and around, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And we're going to do that for every stitch. Come down and around, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, just like that. So continue doing this, front post double crochets for every stitch. And I will meet you at the first corner, and I'll show you what we're going to do to get around the corner, okay? Front post double crochets every stitch. I'll see you at the first corner. Okay, friends, so I'm taking a quick pit stop here to just show you how I'm getting through a corner. So I did a front post double crochet in the last stitch of the side here, and in the chain space, I'm literally just going to go in and do 2 double crochets, chain 2, swivel the work around, and go back into the chain space there with 2 double crochets, just like that. And then I'm going to continue on giving every stitch a front post double crochet, just like that. Okay, so continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of round 23. Okay, friends, so here we are at the end of round number 23, and so here we are in the corner. And so just to finish this off, let's take a quick look here. So the chain 3 here that we started with is not part of the front post double crochets, obviously. So to finish this off, what we need to do is 2 double crochets in the corner here. We're going to chain 2. Let's swivel our work around. And then we're going to add just 1 double crochet because this chain does count as a stitch. So yarn over, go into the corner and do a double crochet. And then we're going to join to the chain here. So let's go ahead and insert a hook into that top chain. It's a little tricky, but we can get it done. Draw up a loop and slip to close. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. We're going to grab the scissors and cut a tail, and then pull the hook away from our work. And then we're going to take our one hand, hold it, take the other hand and slide down, and we're going to smush the 2 chains into the work. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to sew in my ends off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, friends, so I sewed in my ends, and we are finished week 2. So this is what it looks like for week 2. So just to recap, we did the double V stitch here, and then after that we did 2 rounds of half double crochets, which you can see right there, and then we did a round of windows, and then we did 2 rounds of half double crochet windows, and then we went back to the double crochet twins in a stitch, and then we turned our work and we did a front post double crochet to give us that ridge, so we can see where we began and where we ended. So cool. So let's do the stitch count update here. So if you're counting your stitches, on the short side, I always like to do this to show the short side. So let's come down. And so on the short side here, you should have a total of 88 stitches. Okay, 88 stitches. And then if you turn over to the long side and you slide down, you should have a total of 94 stitches. And that's from the chain space all the way to the chain space. Okay, 94 stitches. So my friends, this wraps up week 2 of our Spring Crochet Along. And if you enjoyed this, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Week 1 has already been posted, and week 3 will be posted shortly. So that is all I have for you today. And until the next one, take care. Thank you, friends. Bye.